Welcome back to Sir Francis Online Tuition. In the previous video, I gave an explanation on how or what is meant by rent owing appearing at the end of the accounting year and how it should be treated in our books. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the T account to do that. Okay, and we are considering example 1.2. If you don't have it, pause the video and copy it somewhere. So open a new page of your book or whatever that you are using in your learning and set your account like this. So you have the name of the account on top of the T account. Okay, so this is how we create an account in accounting. If this is the first time of you seeing something like this is how we open an account, and your account should have a name. Over here we are dealing with rent, so we have our rent account. We have the two sides. Here is the debit side and here is the credit side of an account. Don't forget to indicate your currency that you are dealing with. The question here, we have it in cedis, so that's why I have the cedi currency over there. So we are going to record the transaction over here in the rent account. So let's do that. In the year 2001, rent paid which was credited to the cash book was 20,000. Okay, so in the year 2001 we paid rent costing 20,000 Ghana cedis. How do we record it in our books? Now the double entry principle says that if you make payment by cash, your cash book is reducing or your cash account is reducing, so you should credit it. So that's why the question says that it was credited to our cash book account. So the other side of the entry will be, or the other corresponding entry will be in the rent account. Okay, so the payment was made in relation to rent, so the other entry will be in the rent account. And whenever we made payment for expenses, so whenever expenses increases, we have to debit it according to the double entry principle or the golden rule of recording transactions. So we made payment for an expenses which is rent, so we have to debit our rent account and credit our cash book or cash account, but the credit entry has been made in the cash book, so our focus over here is the rent account. Okay, so we are going to debit our rent account with the amount of 20,000. So, and this is the debit side of an account. So you have your year or the date in which the transaction took place, 2001. Then the name of the account, the other account that the transaction affected, is our cash book. Okay, the amount is 20,000. Don't forget that. So we are done with the first transaction or the first entry. Let's go back to the other one. Now rent owing at the end of the year, which is 31st December 2001, was 4,200. In the previous explanation I said rent owing should be rent owing at the end of the year is part of the current year expenses, so it should be added to the one that we've paid. Okay, so in adding an amount to an expenses account, what you have to do is to debit that particular account. So we are going to debit our rent account with an amount of 4,200, and because it is owing at the end of the year, the narration will be owing carry forward. Okay, it has been carried or carried down. Okay, it has been brought down, and the amount is 4,200. Okay, Let me do this one. Well, 2000. Let me add 10 to it. So this is how the recording will be. We are adding the one that we've not paid to the one that we paid for that particular accounting year. It's part of the current year expenses. We've enjoyed the benefit that the payment is yet to be made, and according to the matching concept, all expenses, whether paid or not for a particular year, should be matched against the revenue for that year. So you cannot say because I've not paid, I will not add it to the one that I've paid. If you do that, you will not know the total expenses for that particular expenses. Okay, you don't know the total amount, the total amount for that particular expenses. So once we are done with the recording, what we have to do is to balance off or to close the account. Okay, to close the account, to signify that we are done with that particular transaction. And if you are balancing off an account, you sum the amount at the debit side and write it somewhere. You sum the amount at the credit side and put it somewhere, and compare the two. In comparing the two, or after comparing the two, you pick the one that is the one with the higher amount, or the side with the higher amount, and that amount becomes the total for the two sides. Okay, so if you do the summation for this one, or the credit debit side, you're going to get 24,200, and if you do the summation for the credit side, you're going to get nothing. So obviously the 24,000, which is the debit side, is bigger than the credit side, the amount of the credit side. So the 24,000 becomes the total for the two. So we have 24,200 as your total. Okay, 24,200 as your total. We have it here. So you have to draw your line in examination to tell the examiner that the account has been closed. Okay, so we have the 24,000 here too, 200. So we have the total here. Then we are done with it. Now if you see that here there's nothing here, if you add it, you are getting something, you are getting nothing here. So what do you have to do? You insert the difference at the side, which is smaller. So obviously here the smaller size, or the smaller side, is the credit side. So because an expense, at the end of the day you have to send it to our profit and loss account to know our profit for the year. The narration for the difference will be P and L. Okay, so in examination, if you write something like this, you are not wrong. So 24,200 is the difference. So this is how we balance off an account. First, you have to sum the amount at the debit side, write it somewhere. You sum the amount at the credit side, write it somewhere. Compare the two. So the side with the bigger amount becomes the total for the two sides. Okay, so we pick that one, we close the account, the two sides should be the same. Then you strike the difference. So if you are dealing with an expense, the difference will go to your profit and loss account, because that's where we will send all our expenses against our revenue to know the profit that we've made for the year, according to the matching concept. Okay, so this is how we treat expenses owing appearing at the end of the year, how to use the T account to treat or rectify that, or to record it and strike the difference and send it to the profit and loss account. If you still don't get anything, you can leave it in the comment section and I'll be happy to attend to you. Thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel, share my videos and comment on them. See you soon.